Are you ready? Can crush us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody, power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah. Can Crushers. Yeah. Can Crushers. Let's go.
Hey, it's the OG SGT, the Sarge, Cal Christopher, and you're listening to the Can Crushers podcast. You better be tuning in, or I'm going to come down there and I'm going to stump a mud hole through your rear end and walk it dry for 5 clicks. Hoorah!
Hello! Woo! Welcome to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast, the video game playing version, as we still talk about wrestling.
For one of us.
Yeah, we'll get into that. More on that later. I just lost my voice. I don't know why. Maybe I've been yelling at the TV too long. I'm Mark the Mark. That's Sir Michael Jenks. I'm playing AEW's Fight Forever during the whole podcast and repping. By the way, I have an amazing wife. Don't I?
You do. This is a fantastic T-shirt that, man. And the Head of the Table Funko Pop. So it's a Head of the Table T-shirt, Funko Pop design. My God. I'm completely jealous. I did not realize it was a special at Walmart apparently going on right now. So I'm going to have to go to mine and see if I can find it.
$17 for the shirt and the Head of the Table Roman Reigns. Really pumped.
Yeah.
She comes walking in. She's like, look what I got you and Max. Because Max, you know, he's part of the bloodline. He's the one.
Right, he is the one.
So, let's start somber before we start yelling and everything.
Yeah. Because
moments before recording, it came out on Twitter, came out everywhere. Darren Drozdoff passed away. Have not been following as much, know his injury from years ago and everything, but now that I read a little bit, saw that he was in, bad health for the last couple weeks. And this is the first I've heard of it. So I'm saddened that we didn't get an update, that we didn't know what was going on with Droz. So
the unfortunate thing about that is some people that go away from wrestling, they go in obviously with his injury, but they go away. They just fall out of the limelight. They want nothing to do with the limelight. They want nothing. They just go away. And it's unfortunate that we can't keep tabs on them and keep them in our line of sight, if you will, or day-to-day knowledge for it. But, I know he has had probably the better spirits from what we've seen in interviews about the injury, about everything, not blaming D'Lo for it, things of that nature. But, it's just sad when it comes out after the fact that things went downhill for him and his health went down. So, yeah.
Big part of I think he was a big part of the Attitude Era when he was there. When was the Attitude Era? See, it was Attitude Era, yeah. But he was also around a little bit, like right after the tail end of the Attitude Era, and then that. But yeah, big part of the LOD for a little bit. Listen, be real. Not one of the, barring injury, not one of the greatest careers up and down. His whole gimmick was essentially that he could puke on contact or whenever you wanted him to. And that's kind of weird, but he was a mid-carder that did. He did that, what am I trying to think of? The hardcore stuff and everything. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's still another wrestler that we lost this year, and it's sad that we don't keep tabs on him. So this is a perfect time for me to talk about the Cauliflower Alley Club. You know, this is someplace that maybe Darren didn't, I don't know, but I'm just saying, you know, the Cauliflower Alley Club takes care of people's, you know, wrestlers' bills, and they help them with everything. So if you can join the Cauliflower Alley Club, please go check it out. You can do it monthly. You can do a lifetime. I believe the lifetime, I did it years ago, was like $300. You get some cool stuff every month, every other month or so, and just research it. If you want to know a lot about it, and you want to listen to an old podcast, go back and listen to when we had B. Brian Blair on. He talks a lot about what the Cauliflower Alley Club is. He actually introduced us to it, and it does so good across for medical and, you know, just funerals and everything like that. So that if you want to support wrestling, you want to support old school wrestlers, kind of without sending them money and doing what you can, join the Cauliflower Alley Club. That money goes to them. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, beautifully said. And I think that's something that's not talked about enough around most circles and that. And it could be that not many people know it exists. So I know we bring it up from time to time here on Can Crusher. So guys, donate if you can. Maybe we can add that to the show notes or something for the team. Yep. So just so you guys can have a direct link to that, and just even if this is the only time we think about it, it sucks that this is when we think about it, right?
Right.
But it'll still help out a lot of people, a lot of those wrestlers in that experience those hardships that come up in life. So
yeah. Many have gone through one-man gang, Abdullah, you know, I'm sure they're going to reach out to Duraz's family now. So, raise my glass of Jim Bourbon vanilla. Jim Beam.
Jim Bourbon?
Yeah, Jim Beam vanilla you're even upset that you're not even doing whiskey now.
I totally forgot to do whiskey. I was going to do a beer though. So I will be getting a beer in segment 2. Second segment. Meant to get one earlier. I need one. But anyways.
2 draws. You see my garb.
You see your garb.
I'm experiencing a fucking fantastic week, Sir Michael Jenks.
That's awesome.
This headspace is like, woo! Earlier in the week, whatever, I only found out that, this is going to be all about this, about Fight Forever. I only found out that if you pre-ordered Fight Forever, you got it a day early.
Yeah.
So Wednesday, Mark is trying every which way to get out of going to work or doing anything like that. These do not utter my lips often. Thank God it rained Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
It rained. Mark got wet. The route was done. Mark used vacation, came home. To play Fight Forever.
Yeah.
Thursday could not. It was a longer day. Things are going on. Other people are off. I was off all day today, which is Friday. That the whole weekend. Well, besides Sunday, everybody, make sure you watch the Savannah Bananas Sunday night.
In Akron?
Maybe see Kelly there. So, it's been a great week. I'm not gloating. You don't hear Mark say this that much, but it's been a phenomenal week. And it ties around this freaking game. And we'll get into wrestling, but Jenks, I've read reviews from other people, and I'm like, why? It's a lackluster road to the elite or whatever. I enjoyed it. It's clunky. It's No Mercy. No Mercy, if you go back, was clunky. I love everything about this game.
Mm-hmm.
I am, by the way, I put out some of the stuff on the one match that I put up on Can Crusher is the what the hell do you call it? The YouTube page. More is coming today, by the way, folks. As you're listening to this, I will put more stuff up because it's all wrestling all Saturday. Hidden things. Like, I was expecting to play with Owen right off the lickety split.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to do 100 one-on-one matches to get Owen. You have to do something in the Road to Elite. And I was injured at one point in the Road to Elite. And it skipped a week or two. So that means I might have skipped getting Brody Lee because that might have been the week that I could get it. And also the Big Paul White. He'll always be the Big Show. Paul White.
The Big Show.
Yeah. The Big Show is also somebody that is hidden as well. But if you were on the fence about getting this, I'll give you my 2 cents and then Jenks can come in too. He did play it for a hot moment.
Yeah, we'll get into my fun and excitement here playing it.
As soon as you get it and you play a match or two, you have enough money to buy Cody, Aubrey, the Young Bucks' second apparel, and then Britt's jacket, I think, was the other one.
Yeah, yep.
Boom. You clean that shop off right off the bat. And the shop is loaded full of stuff. I hope, and I don't know if it is because I've not gone online yet at all, if there is or in time that you're going to be able to share your creative wrestlers. Because did you go through any of the poses when you looked at it?
I did look at a ton of the poses in that. There's a lot of, and entrances too. There's a lot of inspired ones. Excuse me, ma'am. There's a lot of inspired, influenced WWE ones. They're right off the bat, they're blatant. I mean, AJ fit right off the bat. Yeah.
Goldberg's on there. Listen, Sasha's, backstabber into her crossface is on there. There's a lot of stuff that you can create whomever you want to. But yeah, that's something maybe I'll do tomorrow and get my guy into the Road to Elite. I did play it with Kenny, and I had a blast playing it with Kenny. I figure, you know what, this guy has put the most amount of time into this game. Why not give him the comeuppance on my end, because he doesn't give two shits, to be the first one through the Road to Elite. And it was fun. But I know I missed some things. I know I didn't do every side match. And I like I said, I was injured because I wasn't eating correctly, or I wasn't doing whatever. And yeah, this game is well worth it. I love every second of it. It's what I need. In the lights out matches, poof, love them. So if you're going to listen to me, go out and buy it. Spend the money. You'll enjoy it. You'll have a blast. It is a la everything on N64 that we grew up with. So no more, no less. Just perfect game. Smash button. Like, I'm really excited once I allow other people to play to beat the fuck out of Kelly on this. Honestly.
As you should. As you should. I mean, I was going to say, when do you introduce Kelly to this to get yourself some in-house competition for it?
It will definitely be after this weekend. Weekend, tomorrow is all wrestling again, especially, Money in the Bank and this, and I have to figure out where I'm going to watch all of that. And then Sunday we leave early, so I won't be playing it all Sunday. So maybe Monday, since I'm off again Monday, and have a short day on Tuesday. Maybe Wednesday. She's got a tattoo. Maybe Thursday. Maybe a week after it comes out, she'll be able to play it.
Once you get those 1,000 matches in, as you can.
Yes.
So, from my end, son of a bitch, that worked. All right. Back in. Anyways, So I had the fun and excitement. Mark let me know this when I logged on because I told him what I was experiencing. Apparently, if you have PS4, which I do, there's a lot of errors coming up where it can't, for some reason, it was just crashing it. And from my experience, when I'd set the match, hit OK to start fighting. It would spin for about a second or two, and then it would completely drop off, throw up this error sign. So apparently right now, for those listening, and if you're experiencing this and you think, oh, this game's just crap because of it, apparently you have to disable from the internet. You cannot be connected to the internet to play it right now. That's the issue. So it's an internet issue. That was the workaround that I saw come out. And right now I'm using Kenny Omega to beat up John Silver, so hopefully I can do this. Although that didn't look good. But yeah, so we're back on. We're ready to go. My takeaway, Mark said it beautifully. This has a lot of No Mercy vibes to it. I didn't understand. I think a lot of people were expecting this to be an RPG type game, which I think is the wrong attitude to have at this. Early on, Kenny and that team said, listen, guys, this is going to be like No Mercy. It's going to be everything like that. So I was coming into here with, I'm getting No Mercy. I'm getting something new generation related to No Mercy, and that's exactly what I got. I just started Road to the Show earlier today before I ran into all my issues with the game. And I started it with Miro. So
I haven't even been Miro yet.
I was Miro. I won the Casino Battle Royal off the Road to the Show, Road to the Elite as Miro before, but then I lost it right away thanks to Hangman Adam Page, that bastard. Doing his cowboy shit in the match. But yeah, so I just started that, but you're right. You get Cody, Aubrey pretty quickly. I pretty much just bought all of that stuff right away. And now I'm working through my favorite match so far, Exploding Barbed Wire Death Match. I don't know. I love that you have to stay away. You only have a minute 20 or 120 seconds, so 2 minutes to kind of play around in the ring, and then it explodes. And the match doesn't end at that point. And to me, I think that's a cool little mini game in it, so I find it very entertaining from that regard. Outside of that, I think if I could learn to counter, I'd be in great shape, but I'm still learning out the counters, working out the counter kinks right now.
I am just smashing the trigger, the bump button, whatever that is, the R1.
Yeah.
What do you have? You have it on PlayStation 4. Yeah, we've said this already.
Yeah, I have it on 4. So on the 4, it says that grapple you have to counter with the left, strike you have to counter with the right. So that's what I've been trying to do. So I kind of have to guess at it and hope for the best, which I just did there and gave John Silver a quick chop.
So how many people, I have not played with everybody, but how many people have you played with?
Every match, I'm kind of just picking a new person to play with. So the one I actually won a Fatal 4-Way with Statlander and won the FTW title from Ricky Starks in the game. So
that was going to be my next question. Are you starting to do anything with titles? Because I'm trying to knock off all the weekly things that need to be done. And I've switched titles before. I actually started switching titles as soon as the game came out. I created FTR.
Yep, I did that too. Yep.
Because they're on there individually, but they're not on there as a tag team. You have to create the tag team. So I did that, and their music's in there. Their Jumbotron and all that shit's in there. All you have to do is kind of put it together.
Yeah.
So I switched them to tag team champions. I don't know, whatever. I left MJF and I left Thunder Rosa, and then you saw the Brit on the YouTube page won the title from Thunder Rosa.
Right.
Classic match. But yeah, I'm doing the Nick Jackson thing right now, and apparently because I'm doing Nick Jackson and picking whoever, and he just won the TNT championship now. So now
really?
Jackson is whoever. I think I had it as Ricky. No, definitely not Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks is my whipping boy on here. Anytime I wanted, see what the other person does, Ricky Starks is the guy that I beat the shit out of.
Okay, fair enough.
So, I was going to ask you who your whipping boy is.
Whipping boy right now, I think for the most part, I'm trying to think who I usually pull up. It's been between John Silver, and Dustin. I usually pull Dustin out just to kind of beat the shit out of him a little bit. But I've also been trying to experiment with different people too. So like, I'm not facing the same person over and over again to kind of get a different experience of it. And I will say I have not played as Penta. I haven't played as the Young Bucks yet, and I haven't played as Death Triangle.
Yeah,
I think I played as
Death Triangle, Miro.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've played against Sammy, but I haven't played as Sammy. So
I kept my word. It was Sammy against Adam Cole in the very first match that I did.
Okay.
I had both controllers on just to find out what was going on.
I did Moxley, and I think I told you Jungle Boy was that first match. Moxley and Jungle Boy. And then I brought out Punk and I can't remember who his opponent was that day. Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but it was Punk and Hobbs, I think. And just kind of went to town to see what Punk could do, see what everybody could do to make it work. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our advertisements. We're not being paid by them whatsoever, but if they want to send us free DLCs or something down the line, that would be amazing. But guys, if you loved, and we'll keep going back to this, if you loved the games NWO versus WCW, WrestleMania 2000, and the other No Mercy, this is exactly it. This is exactly it. Newer graphics, newer everything. It's just so fun. Have you dabbled with everything on like the exhibition? Have you done a ladder match and you said a Casino Battle Royal? But
I did Casino Battle
hard.
They are very hard. I'm surprised I won the Casino Battle Royal, to be honest, because I was getting my ass whipped pretty much the whole time, but somehow I pulled it out of my ass at the end. I've done everything but the 3- and 4-way matches right now. Because I'm like, I don't want to play those. That's not what I want to play right now. I want to play the one-on-ones, because to me, those are the challenging ones now. Like in WWE 2K, I would actually play more Fatal 4-ways, Fatal 5-ways, because it's harder for me with multiple people to play it. Like if I'm one-on-one, I'm just beating the shit out of somebody and it's over, and it's kind of boring.
Right.
But everything else I've been sticking to the one-on-ones. I did play a couple tag matches in that to kind of get some bearings in that. But yeah, the ladder match to me, the one thing about that is it's very simple to win if you know what you're doing. So that's kind of good for me. I kind of like that a little bit, but also at the same time I was surprised.
Matches.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I was like, okay, you just have to hold each 4 of the buttons in whatever order it tells you to win it. So I was like, okay, that worked.
Yeah. I dabbled a little bit in mini games, maybe played each one once, but nothing that I'm like, oh, I really need to go and play these again. But they pop up actually in Road to Elite. They can't pop up if you pick there's so many options. People are saying Road to Elite is kind of watered down. No, there's definitely different options the whole way through that you can skip over this, you can skip over that. But yeah, I like Road to Elite.
Yeah, I was hoping. So I think for Road to the Elite, I think it has. We'll get to the Thundering Elephant.
Yeah, you'll get to that
in the background. Yeah, that one. We're not there yet. But with Road to the Elite, yeah, even though I'm only really fresh into it, I'm wondering how it plays out. If it starts branching off anywhere, if it's pretty linear for all the playthroughs. Because if you remember No Mercy, one decision or one loss branches you into a whole different stratosphere versus, whatever you did.
I am peeking because I'm setting up my match. It's Ruby Soho against Jade for the TBS title on my end.
I had to mute. I was trying to see. Jesus Christ.
Go ahead. Tell everybody the Thunderdome.
Well, let's tell you what's going on in the Thunderdome before we get back to it. Earlier this week, as everybody knows, Kimberly's family's going out of town for a week or so. So they contacted me and asked, hey, would you watch our new golden retriever puppy? Get off that table. That wasn't even the puppy. That was the older one. So they go, would you watch our golden retriever puppy? She's 30 pounds. She's obviously a puppy, so she's hyperactive. I'm like, sure. Brought Bailey and her together. Things went great Monday. So I'm like, okay, fantastic. We'll do it, whatever. They brought her about 4 o'clock, and hey, no! They brought her about 4 o'clock. These two are trying to get to know each other and get used to each other. So I gotta, Mark, why don't you take over and talk about Rodeo Elite for a second here?
Okay. The Thunderdome's happening at Jenks' house. Rodeo Elite, guys, as I was saying, there's so much to buy in the shop as well. Different poses, different attire, different ways that you can set up your arenas, because there's create arena, create a wrestler, create a move set. So all that's in there that makes this so fun and just so retro. As of right now, if you want to get in depth about like, oh, I could do this on 2K, stop comparing. I'm going to tell you right now, stop comparing, because there is no comparison. Just like Jenks says, this is arcadey, and it's going to give you a base arena that you can change this, you can change that. And the same thing with the wrestlers, so to speak. But it's about the gameplay. That's what this is really about, and just the moves that you can pull off and how fast you can pull them off, because it's 1 button, 2 button, smash button, which we're all used to, compared to up, down, left, right, circle, this, that, and the other for 2K, for the 2Ks. I will tell you, enjoy. Get acclimated before you play a lights out match, because there's so much involved in a lights out match that there's certain ways that you have to do things in the lights out to get like your thumbtacks. I noticed that to get the thumbtacks, you have to be on a special, or not the special, the one before the special, your signature move. Then you reach for those underneath the ring, and they're always underneath the ring. You just have to pick out which side that they're under. Then you bring them into the ring. You can beat the hell out of them for a long time just using the bag. And then you do the R2 button, and then you dump them all over in the ring. And then there's thumbtacks. And then the blood is just unbelievable. I'm going to say that again because Sir Michael Jenks is actually putting his headphones back on. But the blood is just, I love it. Yeah, it does disappear after a little bit, but when you get hit with the thumbtacks or an exploding barbed wire baseball bat, it looks like it's a death scene, and it's amazing.
I haven't seen the exploding bat yet, and everything I've played.
Really?
I've had the tacks hit me, but I haven't had the exploding bat.
I think, when you were gone for a hot second, I think some of them are, you have to get them when you have your signature or your special or your something like that. That's the only way that you can pull them out.
That makes sense.
But because they're bigger weapons.
Yeah.
But yeah. Is the death triangle at your house good?
They're fine. They were getting, I think Bailey's trying to get a little bit of a reprieve, but they're fine. They're drinking out of the same water dish. They're just trying to. Bailey's trying to separate. One of them wants to play. It's back and forth. So the Thundering Herd's fine here, but we're good.
Good.
So that's my fun. That'll be my fun for the next week.
It really is. By the way, Ruby Soho now on my game, the new TBS champion. I'm going to run 10 matches in a row with Ruby. Listen, I am, as I said, my goal to get everything is to play my 100 matches so I get Owen Hart. Yeah. I'm at match 83 right now.
Okay.
So that's where I am. Other than that, that's our hot topic this week, really, really, so we can get into the podcast. We'll probably still talk about what's going on as we're playing. But yeah. Did you have anything?
No, nothing from my perspective of Hot Topic life. So, yeah, it's just AEW Fight Forever and Puppy Mania running wild on me. So,
on you, brother.
On you, brother.
So, all right, we're gonna leave it there, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about AEW first. We're gonna encapsulate the whole week in segment 2, and then we'll leave WWE for the end, and we will talk about predictions gone wrong and gone almost perfectly right on one person's end.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to do generic style today. Collar and elbow, we have a promo code. Use Can Crushers. All one word. Capital C and Can, capital C and Crushers. Saves you 10%.
Gotta love it.
Gotta love it. Jenks is playing, so you can hear it on...
I was going to say, I was waiting for the pitch. So you can hear us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, wherever you like to listen to us, and fill your ear holes with our sultry voices. So that's the fun there.
If you're talent, referee, owner, promoter, whatever, you'd like to be on the show, you can email us at cancrusher69@gmail.com or slide into any one of our DMs on our socials. Jenks?
Yep. Can Crushers, man.
Facebook,
hit it up.
Instagram, or Twitter.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Hit the socials. This is what happens when we play, Mark. I will say this. You could also email us at cancrusher69@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And
I started with that one this week. But
you did do that. Whatever. I'm trying to help.
The wife said if she saw me rearranging the studio to get set up so I'm directly in front of the TV and I'm on the table so the computer running, she's like, there's no fucking possible way that you two are going to be able to do this. You guys lose your track of mind when you're not doing anything.
We'll be fine. We got this. I mean, between the game and these dogs, I am as focused as I'll ever be for this podcast. Let's be honest.
Me too. Good thing there's not like 2 pay-per-views that we have to discuss.
Yeah,
and
no.
An amazing week in wrestling.
Nothing at all. Nothing like that at all. So we'll get there.
Before we go to segment 2 and you listen to the commercials and everything, do you like the entrances?
I like that I can control the pyro in that. I think that's cool. And I'm going to be honest. I mean, I'm kind of a fan that I don't have to sit through a long entrance. I kind of like the little short, No Mercy style entrance going on here.
I love it. I definitely love it. And if you watch the entrances, folks, by the way, again, if you're waiting for us to say anything bad about this, good luck. I like that the entrances are different because, like you said, you haven't used the Young Bucks. Well,
right.
When you hit a button, money comes out, streamers come out for them. You don't get streamers for everybody else. Nobody else does Brits falling pyro.
Right.
You can make it do it the whole time. You can add fire and everything else to it. But there are ones that are different that you just roll with it. Will it be something that I probably skip in time? Yeah, because I skip all entrances in time. Right now, it's cool to be dinking around with it, but this is fun. This is absolutely fun. My one beef is I think the refs should switch automatically. Like maybe Aubrey, because I have it set on Aubrey all the time, because you can go in and pick between Aubrey and Mike Knox. It should just be random, let them come out whenever they want to. Whoever wants a ref. That's insignificant to the game. It really is.
True. Very true. I mean, I would want that too. I like that they give the option for that to be a thing, but at the end of the day, I'm not sitting here going to think about, I should pick a new referee or I should pick Rick Knox or something like that. Because let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, we're just coming here to get blood, guts, and thumbtacks and skateboards.
It really is. I have not been on a skateboard yet either, by the way.
I have not come across a skateboard at all.
Okay, so it's got to be certain things. So, yeah, I'll probably be going, as soon as I get done beating Ty, I'm going to go into a blood and guts match. Or not blood and guts match. Jesus, I don't want to say that, because if we do get picked up, a lights out match. Lights out match. So, all right, here comes Al to tell you more about Collar and Elbow, and we'll be back. We'll be talking about more AEW, just real stuff that happened in the ring.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
This is Foreman Red James, and you're listening to Mark the piece of shit garbage man on Can Crushers.
Welcome back to Can Crushers, where it's Fight Forever AEW Wrestling Video Game Day.
It's Fight Forever Puppy Mania Day as well going on over here. So
it is.
Oh no, never mind. I spoke too soon.
Open mouth, insert foot.
Yep.
I do want to tell you one more thing that the wife got at the Walmarts, by the way. This is a huge advertisement for Walmart and Fight Forever today. Macaroni and cheese pizza.
Macaroni and cheese pizza? How is that?
Amazing. Send her back to pick up 2 more to have in the fridge. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. By the way, if you're looking for them, they have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on them.
Oh,
so
okay.
You tell me, right? It's perfect then. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on it. Macaroni and cheese pizza. Awesome.
Now, are those limited edition though?
I don't know. They're going to be, if I have to go back over tomorrow and buy more, just to stock them up. They're frozen. They're not going to go bad.
Well, no, right. But I didn't know if they're like a limited release with like something Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle related.
New movie coming out? Or something?
I've heard there's like something new coming out for them. I thought there was a game at one point, but I don't know what exactly, if that's a thing or not. It might be later on or something like that. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Right now I'm setting up an exploding barbed wire death match, and I am going to be somebody I've never been. I'm going to be Dustin Rhodes.
Okay.
And listen, guys, there are presets out there, too, of different ring attire. You can almost get Gold Dust, essentially, on this game. He's got a gold suit on with his... Have you looked at him?
I didn't look at him yet. I did see the gold suit, though.
Yeah.
So.
And, I don't know. Maybe Matt Hardy. In his broken is what I'm doing.
I am getting my ass beat as Malachi Black by Jeff Hardy right now in the Lights Out match.
Nice. All right, AEW. Rampage, nope, didn't watch. I watched Collision.
Yeah.
And Andrade against Brody King was absolutely fucking. By the way, the dogs are in studio as well here, so that's why I said don't worry about it. Andrade against Brody King was awesome. Could have been match of the week if Forbidden Door didn't happen. Okay?
Yeah.
Probably would have been match of the week. Buddy attacks, everybody attacks, this, that, and the other thing. What was long for me, FTR, Starks, and Punk against the Guns and the Bullet Club.
Yeah.
It was just, and I'm going to say this a couple more times, too, talking about AEW. They just, to get to the story they needed to tell, didn't need to be a half-an-hour match.
Right.
Didn't need to be a half-an-hour match whatsoever. So.
I caught the tail end of that match, and I know I think the Guns picked up the victory on it, or somehow Juice and them picked up the victory.
Yeah.
When you say it was a half hour, I can't believe that they would go 30 minutes with an 8-man tag.
Yeah.
That to me is just wild.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah.
And there was long spots on Dynamite, too. But listen, the real meat and the potatoes of all of this is Forbidden Door. And let me tell you, I didn't watch it live. Nor did I watch it in one setting. Sunday about, I don't know, when did I text you?
Oh, about.
I picked a bar.
It was about 5 minutes or 5 o'clock or something like that. Or no, it was close to 7:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was early because your internet was down and you didn't have the resolution time.
A tractor trailer that delivers to like one of the parks down the road, industrial parks or whatever, ran into the wires at literally like 2,000 feet away from us and just ripped the wires down, and boom, we're a la no internet, and we stream, by the way, folks. So a la no TV for the 3 hours that they had to fix it.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to come in the middle of Forbidden Door to start watching it from there. So it was like, all right, catch a little bit on Monday, catch a little bit on Tuesday. It was just a crapshoot of trying to then find time to watch it. But I had to watch it before Wednesday then because of Dynamite and Fight Forever. So it was a crapshoot putting it together. But knowing this, I did not get to watch the opening stuff. So you can tell me about the opening stuff.
You talking about 0 Hour?
Yeah, the 3 hour.
Yeah, I mean, 0 Hour itself, there's some good things going on there. Obviously, Athena won, and I wouldn't say it was anything groundbreaking. It was just enough to give you that taste for what was to come for the rest of the night. And for some reason, I'm blanking on matches right now, so I got to go back. But
people are yelling upstairs. It was the mogul.
I got it. Yeah, it was Tom Lawler. So this one happened. Tom Lawler and Serpentico, because Adam Cole was apparently sick the day of, and then Britt was sick on Wednesday, so that happened. Mogul Embassy beat pretty much the Best Friends, Rocky Romero, and that, which it was a standard 8-man tag. I don't think it was anything to write home about, really. When you talk about, there goes Jeff Hardy. Damn it, he got up. Sorry, he just rolled me up like a dick. Athena, 2.99. I'm pausing it. Athena did beat Billy Starks, but see, that one was, I think it was a good match, but it was kind of a foregone conclusion. Like, I like Billy Starks. This was her first 0 hour at all. But
I did see this. This because they actually put this on, and I watched somebody recorded this or something. This was Billy Starks' coming out party. Like, for people that didn't know Billy Starks and everything, listen, she's been on the show when she was young because she's only 18 now. This was her coming out party, and people were like, oh my God, she is that good. Yeah, she got the loss, but now the nation knows who she is, essentially.
Which was amazing for her, to get her that national spotlight in that at such a young age. It's fantastic for her because it's only up from here. It is literally only been up for Billy Starks from this point forward, even before this. So this was fantastic. Get her on the national stage and get her on a big time pay-per-view that, is not even being watched just nationally, but internationally too, because you're going to get the Japan audience. You're going to get the Canadian audience because it's in Canada, but you're also getting that American audience that is traditional for AEW. It's fantastic to see for her.
Agreed. Then we get to the meat and potatoes of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
The pay-per-view starts, and MJF said it, I don't know if it was Collision or Rampage or whatever, he wants to fight the first match to get away from these indie stars. This is a crock of shit. He shouldn't even be there. And it was perfect that he wrestled this first match.
Yep.
You knew you weren't going to get anything. I'm pausing now, too.
Yeah.
You're not going to get anything that is to come from MJF and Hiroshima. Yeah.
Hiroshi, Tanahashi. Yeah.
Tanahashi. Yeah. Well, oh my God. Tanahashi. Yeah. You weren't gonna get any of that.
No.
But I'm going to throw this out there right now to tell you. For me, not one match grading on, 6 beers was less than a 4.5.
That's fair.
Nothing. This is going to be hard to beat, this pay-per-view. And I know we say this after AEW pay-per-views, but this one just hit. Every match hit. That there's sometimes we're like, ooh, that one kind of brought it down a little bit. I didn't have a come-down match at all. I'm actually now looking back, talking about it now. I'm glad that I watched it in intervals because every match was like, oh, fuck, shit.
Mm-hmm. You were watching cool shit happening minute after minute, time after time. I will say, I did have a couple threes in here because they just weren't sparking the interest for me. So maybe I put a little bit of harshness on it, but I had a couple threes in here. Tanahashi and MJF, 3.5 for me on this scale. I think it was just because I just never saw MJF getting off of it, and for some reason Tanahashi's not clicking for me, and I think it's because he's getting up there in age, and it's not as crisp as it used to be, right? So, and for me it was just like, okay, it was a good first match. I did love the fact that MJF scheduled a tweet during this match to fuck with people. Right. And say, I'll have them beat by now. So I thought that was great. And then the other flip side of that was it was serviceable for the first match. MJF with the New Japan's an indie on his robe type thing, just to further place your point. But it did what it needed to do for MJF because it gave MJF the legend of Tanahashi to hang on his wall of hunts, if you will, where he can say, I beat your ace. Now what are you going to do about that? Yeah.
It's storytelling. It might not be story now, but serviceable down the line. So it got MJF away from what's to come.
Yeah.
Next match of Punk and Kojima, I think was kind of rinse and repeat because this wasn't Punk's match. Mm-hmm. This isn't, it was supposed to be Kenta, never gonna happen, Kojima's a little bit of old age as well.
Yeah.
But it did what it needed to do because what it needed to do was get heat on Punk.
Mm-hmm. 100% get heat on Punk.
They hated him.
Yeah, they absolutely detested Punk in this contest, which was good because, Canada had hated him the whole weekend because I saw that portion of it. There's the squeakers. So
I thought it was mine, actually.
So. No. But yeah, Punk hook, line, sinker just wanted to fucking irritate that crowd and poke the bear continuously through it all. And one of the things I also loved the callback here. If you guys have seen the old ROH promos ever, him and Joe sitting around, or interviews, him and Joe sitting around and he's yelling, Lariat, Kojima, Lariat. And he does this in the corner with this most sadistic look, Punk crazed look on his face. Chef's kiss. Because it was mocking him. It was feeding into that heel gimmick that he had going on. Also, the fucking leg drop. And I know he did that. I thought I saw he did that during Collision at some point.
Did.
Went right back to it. Man. It really led up to heel Punk getting his karma when he got elbowed in the penis later in the match. I mean, it's
really
good.
And I'm going to be Punk right now. That was a strong elbow to the penis.
It was a very stiff elbow to the penis.
I was like, oh my God. Get ready. Crow in front of me. I wasn't sure about this 4-way match with Cassidy and Garcia and Shibata and Zack Sabre Jr. I knew it was going to be awesome, but I was like, man, even though, by the way, We both have MJF winning. We both had Punk winning.
Yep.
So, we both, no, I went with Orange. You thought Garcia, maybe to kind of get things going and rolling. Garcia was the star of this match, though.
Hook, line, and sinker, he was the star of this match. The dancing off, the strikes, to everything else. Garcia has really proven that he can take any gimmick you throw to him and run with it. Like before, he was 100% that submission, no-nonsense guy, and now he's really grown leaps and bounds in this entertainment, sports entertainer mindset that's him. Where he's dancing and on Dynamite, dancing on top of Keith Lee during Dynamite. You know, he has just absorbed it 100% overall. And I love every minute of it.
I will throw this out now as we talk about Dynamite a little bit as well. He's outgrown the JAS.
I'm going to be honest. So we know Sammy has.
Right.
Sammy's done it, but you're completely right. Garcia's outgrown them. I think a lot of the people that are left outside of maybe Hager have outgrown the JAS. And I'm throwing 2.0 in there.
Right.
Daddy Magic in that.
Point, yeah.
They are their own thing right now. They're their own guys. Honestly, the JAS is only together by name recognition right now. Lack of better terms. And I think it's barely that at this point.
It's the bat is the only thing keeping them together.
Mm-hmm.
If this was on any other show, this would probably be match of the night. Back to the 4-way. It was unbelievable.
It was totally unbelievable. That was my first six beer of the night. Was that 4-way?
Yeah.
So,
but it wasn't match of the night. Not yet.
Well, it's not light years. Not light years wasn't even close to match of the night. So
yeah. Will it make top 5 probably in Can Crushers? We'll see.
Maybe.
Yeah. Next up is Sonata against Jack Perry. And this, again, did what it needed to do because Sonata was defending the title. He had the open challenge. And we really never thought, go back and listen to last week, neither one of us picked Jack Perry to win. And I brought reference to the whole idea. I said, we're going to get a change from Jack here in the near future. I didn't think it was going to be Sunday night. So
I didn't think so either. That was a complete and utter shock to me.
And it was perfect. It was perfect. We'll encapsulate Dynamite as well. He's still young. He's still good in the ring, and he's still banging bitches, or the hottest bitch, or whatever the hell he said.
The hottest bitch in the company, he's still banging. So
yeah,
I mean, I love that they use that also for and this is just a random thing that I loved, because the match overall, I thought it was good, but the aftermath kind of eclipsed it. It eclipsed it a lot. But I love that they use that as the way to transition Taz out of the booth for JR, because Taz was pissed and he was hot. And I'm wondering if Taz had an inkling that this was going to happen at any point, because he just got so fucking worked up about it. He got dad mode 100%. Or Taz is really good at acting, and I never thought that would be the case. So
right, because he speaks like us.
Yeah, he does speak like us. So I don't know. But God, it was so good. It was such a good way to get Taz out of the booth.
I, though, will run back. Oh, man. Apparently we're getting vibes across the board from 3 hours away, because mine are just going at it now, too. The whole FTW thing, like, Jack's bigger than that. I feel like he's being relegated to something lower going to that. He could have turned, I don't know, on anybody else. Why Hook? Why does it have to be Hook? And I don't understand why they picked him. But yeah, well, something. Go ahead.
I think though it was the opportunity for them, because they needed to get they need Hook to get a bigger name to go after, right? So Jungle Boy, he's that big. Jack Perry's that bigger name for them to try to face off with. The other thing is, I think for Jack Perry, it's been. We said it a couple weeks ago. Oh, he's back with Jungle, and we're getting Jungle Hook back. You know, this is a step down from the world title picture. But it's not. It's for an elevation or a change. It's time to allow that change to happen for them. And it kind of helps kind of change the script and flip the script on what we thought was going to happen with it, and gives Jungle Boy something legitimate to do now. You know what I mean?
Saying it like that now, I'll give you that.
With the character development that he needed, right? I think that's the key here.
Yeah. Do you think he wins this title and we don't see Hook for a little bit, maybe to change his character as well?
I think that's a possibility, because this could be their best way to, maybe legitimize Jungle Boy in a way where it takes away, it strips Hook of of that undefeated streak that he has, right? Right. It kind of strips him of that. It's a legitimate opponent because this is one of your pillars who's done this. So I think it might be a good opportunity for him. Whether they pull that trigger or not, I'm not sure.
I actually hope, as much as I'm bitching about it, I actually hope they do, because maybe this puts a legitimacy on that title then. I don't know. I'm half and half, and I know I'm being wishy-washy about it, but it really is like, what are we doing? But you've talked me into the whole making Jungle Boy a threat now, so.
Well, and that's where I don't know if they need they're trying to put the legitimacy on the title, or if they're just doing the character development that I think we've so desperately, or Jungle Boy's desperately needed so far. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did we pick anybody for this? No, because this was added late. Yeah.
I thought we didn't pick this, huh? Oh, no. I thought we did.
No,
Whoops.
We did not. Yep, we did not pick it. So at least I didn't write it down, so that's enough. Next is the Team Elite against Team BCC, and it did everything it definitely needed to do. It brought it. This is what separated us, along with two others for Jenks, essentially. But we thought this was what was going to separate us in the long haul. This was perfect. I'm not mad that Team Elite won. This was where I was like, I don't know. I'll go BCC, you go Elite. I think this was perfect.
Yeah. This was a great match where we could show off everybody, have a 10-man tag, get some good, really bring Takeshita to the forefront. But man, him and Ishii throwing those bombs at each other, and then Ishii getting knocked the fuck out for about, a good 5 minutes or so?
Oh, wow.
At least. Yeah. I think it was a great way to get those 10 guys at least involved in it. And I laughed at Umino high-fiving fans, and Moxley had to go wrangle him in and during the entrance, because that was what my favorite. He's like, "We're the heels, come on."
Well, yeah, you're not supposed to be doing this, right? you're the bad guy.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be up in their faces celebrating with them. But it did what it needed to do. It was the strong display of power for everybody involved, and then it got the 10 guys on the card, but it just showed off a lot of what they were trying to do, what they needed to do to get the win. I was surprised the Elite got it, but then again, we had to get to the cage match in a couple weeks here, so they needed to get some sort of win to get us where they need to go.
Yeah, we had to get the blood and guts, which is...
Yeah, we got to get the blood and guts.
Which is in Boston Gardens. So, and that challenge happened Wednesday. Okay. Next up, we have Tony Storm against Willow Nightingale. Again, serviceable. It did what it needed to do. And I know you're like, Mark, you just said everything was 4.5. It was. There was some story twisted into this, but it really was to get the women on the show and show both of them. This is where I thought if we were going to get a surprise, I thought we'll at least get some type of surprise here of maybe Mercedes or something popping up to challenge Tony after this. But more to come probably in a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, I think this was... look towards that Boston date. I think that's going to be more than just the blood and guts type mentality here. But you're right. This was absolutely serviceable. It did what it needed to do to get, Tony on the card to defend the title. But again, it was one of those things where this could be a good match. This could be a good place to maybe do a quick title change just to kind of shock and awe the crowd. But they weren't going to pull the trigger from what it seemed like.
Well, I thought the same thing, but then I thought, well, are you going to have Willow with 2 titles? I don't know. Not that Kenny did it bad, but people maybe hated it a little bit more when Kenny had 2 companies' titles and disrespecting one, so they say, but I never thought Willow was going to carry both of them. And because hers wasn't on the line. So
right.
Tony winning, Tony won.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. I mean, with Kenny's, I think for people, it was just the fact that he was giving it to Nakazawa, and he wasn't even acknowledging it as, hey, I'm the champion of Impact or whatever, right?
Right.
I think for Willow, she would have acknowledged that many times over.
Oh, I agree.
But I think it's different scenarios, and it's also Kenny Omega had to be the heel in that aspect. So, yeah, he's going to mistreat the titles like nothing.
Right.
So.
And he did. And it was story, guys. It was story. So he did it perfectly.
Yeah. No, completely agree.
Speaking of Kenny Omega, him and Ospreay, whatever we say, Jenks, and I hate to say it's like this, is going to be an injustice. This is probably one of my favorite matches of my lifetime now. That's where it is. You've heard me kind of give away my podcast of the year. This already won match of the year for me.
I literally wrote in my phone, and let me get the exact verbiage here when I was watching it. Oh, yes. Blackout times Infinity match of the year, runaway. I put contender, but it's definitely the winner. Yeah. The story, everything about it, my God, it was just on par and just fucking amazing. From the moves to the one-winged angel kick out on one to everything hit where it needed to hit. Just so beautifully done. And we're not doing it justice.
Get it again?
When
do we get it again?
See, a lot of people are like, oh, they're going to do it at All Out or All In. I don't think that's the case at all. I think this is waiting another 6 to 8 months, and it's at New Japan again. This is Wrestle Kingdom to the max. This is New Japan's program, so they're going to put it at Wrestle Kingdom. They're not going to give it back away on AEW ever again.
Yeah, I completely agree at Wrestle Kingdom. Following that, okay, because that's a barn burner, unbelievable match of the year. Then you get Sting and Darby and Naito against Jericho, Sammy, and Suzuki. Good, but hard to follow.
Yep. Well, it was way, yeah. They knew what they were doing with this match because they realized that we need something to cool down the crowd. Even if it doesn't seem like it's a lot, it's got to cool down the crowd somehow, some way. So this, unfortunately, was the victim.
It was.
To that. I mean, that's just the way to put it. That was the victim. I also was like, was kind of shocked because I was sitting there. I thought Naito just seemed like he was going through a lot of the motions in that match. Like, I just need to be here. He didn't even take his shirt off. I mean, that's what it just came off to me as, is I'm just asked to be here.
Did you like the Murder Grandpa chant?
I did like that a lot. I mean,
I popped for that. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome.
As it should be.
What I didn't pop for is Joker Sting.
I didn't either, because I was like, oh, his face paint's different. And then it was brought up that it's Joker Sting. And I'm like, I get that was the TNA thing back in 2011 or so. But it was like, that's not what I don't care for that. That's not.
Yeah.
I get it. It was something different, right? But I think if he would have wore it Wednesday and all the shit that he did Wednesday, I think that would have matched perfectly for him.
Why wouldn't you wear it back-to-back shows then, essentially?
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Do it, wear it back-to-back, and have fun with it. I mean, especially if you're going to have a Painmaker, the Painmaker is coming for you.
Right.
Like, it just made sense to do your dress up against the Painmaker. He's bringing Painmaker, you bring Joker back.
Yep.
But, I don't know.
Last thing, the Judas effect to counter the suicide dive. I thought he was dead.
I thought he was too. Now, I remember that because that's a callback to when they faced way back when. I think it was back in 2019. He did that. It knocked Darby out. Like, I think the match ended on that way back in 2019. Okay. So I remembered that because I remember they had like a quick thing. It was right when they first started back in 2019. It was somewhere around there. And I remember seeing the clip of Jericho hitting it, but Darby came full force into his arm, and it just knocked Darby the fuck out. Yeah.
Okay. Now I have to find that clip because I have to see. And I'm completely believing you.
Yeah.
And then if Offspring and Omega weren't on this card, this next match would be match of the year. Of Danielson and Okada. This was everything we wanted to.
It was.
Broken everything.
Yep. It was fucking forearm breaks, and it was
the match it broke.
10 minutes into the match, it was another 10 minutes. What was it, 10, 12 minutes that he went without it. Oh my God, I just couldn't believe it. But even then, he still applied that fucking submission that got Okada to tap, which people, doing your research, it had been 8 years since Okada tapped, and it was to Shinsuke Nakamura before he left. So the fact that he tapped out Danielson, my God in heaven, that is such a big, obviously it's a big nod for Daniel, but good Lord Almighty, that is just something you relish this moment, because you don't see it ever. You never see it happen.
No. And again, we'll do Injustice, deep diving into this. Just this whole thing, it had me sweating the whole 2 days that I was watching it because it was so good. It really was the pay-per-view I think that we needed almost, right?
Yeah. It needed the refresh. It needed that kick in the pants type mentality. Because AEW was getting to that point, and I think it's because they're trying to push the new talent over, trying to get these guys more elevated, and I think it's a lot for us, even though we're sitting here, we agree they're pillars, they're there to be there, they're there to be the future in that. It's hard for a lot of us to settle in and say, I'm fully invested in this now, right? Because it's a changing of the guard, and we have to learn to love these younger guys as they start building themselves up and building their, I can only think of repertoire, but that's not the right word for it, but building their resume. They're building their resume back up to get legitimacy in our eyes. And for some of them, it's going to come easier than others, but having a fantastic night of wrestling to kind of build your foundation on, that's what makes Forbidden Door even better. And it's probably the aura around it and where these are fresh matches. These are things we're not seeing before. You know, it's different combinations. It just piques the interest even further.
It really does. So, as a whole then, what do you give this pay-per-view?
Well, I got to give it at least easily a 6-pack, maybe a 12-pack, because actually I'm still drunk in a ditch from Omega and Ospreay. So
it gets the whole case. It really does.
It gets a case and a half sometimes because it was just beautiful, just fantastic.
It really was. Then we have some fallout on, I'm going to take a break for a minute. Then we get some fallout of injuries and this, that, and the other. Because Dynamite, to me, did its thing, but in general, it was lackluster after a pay-per-view like that. And I think it had to be because you couldn't bring it twice.
Well, there was no way they were going to top the pay-per-view. I mean, there's just no way you can even get close. And to your point, you can't bring it 3 days apart, bring it that hard. No. That's why if you look at the history of those shows that come after pay-per-view, even going back to Raw, the Raw after WrestleManias and that, they always have to rely on that shock and awe value of the surprises to bring people in, to bring that audience in, because there was no way they were going to top the wrestling event. Right? I mean, they're medial, day-to-day, month-to-month pay-per-views, yes, but, you know, those don't produce as much as WrestleMania, SummerSlam. Those are where you see those big matches, unless it's a diamond in a rough type thing, like Sammy and KO from Battleground 2016 or whatever that pay-per-view was called. But for AEW, they knew what they had. They knew they also didn't have the New Japan talents. They knew they had to build what was in Forbidden Door, turn it into some sort of gold or something so that they could go forward with. I don't blame them for having a show that was kind of sagged a bit, but it also, hey, you know what? It pushed things along, which was what it needed to do.
And it did. Danielson was supposed to have the match against Ishii, so just sliding Mox into it was perfect. I did like this. Of them beating the crap out of each other.
Well, I think Ishii just wanted the chance to redeem himself after getting knocked the fuck out on Sunday, and he's like, I just want to beat the shit out of somebody. Give me Mox.
But he didn't. He got knocked out again in this match.
I know he did.
Like, they went into that, the headlock, the chin lock, for a good 3 minutes because you saw his legs go, or like, oh no, again.
They had to reel him in and just kind of say, okay, you're fine. Just let's take a breather.
But throwing Mox in for Danielson, BCC, perfect, by the way. Oh, by the way, the only one I missed that we predicted was the BCC match. Jenks missed Okada, and I'm not even going to hold that one against you because we were both like, it could have gone.
We didn't know.
We just guessed. You being such an Orange fan, but you were like, the whole.
I think for that one,
I can't hold the loss against you.
For that one, it was. I thought about it and like, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled the wool.
Right.
And just gave it to Garcia because you give Garcia such a big boost by beating who was in that ring, Shibata. And
he doesn't get the pins on him, but
he gets the notoriety for getting those wins, especially against this guy like Sabre.
Right.
Jr. I mean, honestly, I kind of was hoping that he would get the win and then we'd get Sabre Jr. versus him in a submission match of some sort. But at the end of the day, I just thought, you know what? Garcia was the star of the show, so I'll take that as the win for Garcia. He needed to just show and show out, but
so we tied. Deal.
I'll say it. I'll believe it in my heart of hearts.
Time limit draw.
Right. Yeah, 60-minute time limit draw.
But jumping back to Dynamite, Mox sliding in for Danielson, perfect, because BCC and Eddie's got issues with the BCC. That story was continued. It could have been Yuta in this match, which maybe I would have probably liked to see. Nothing against Mox. I would have loved to see Yuta
Yuta versus Ishii would have been, it would have been good for Yuta, I think, to have that kind of legendary, continue what Forbidden Door was doing, putting young guys against the legendary wrestlers from New Japan, put them against the Stone Pitbull and let them go for 10, 15 minutes. I think even if you were to give Ishii the win, that would have been fantastic. It still doesn't matter. You can have the breakdown at the end of it that announced Blood and Guts, and you can still have Mox and Kingston fighting in the back, and Renee have to break them up and separate them, which beautiful storytelling. And the fact she told off Kingston and Eddie back down because he respects women and he respects Renee in this scenario.
I wrote that earlier. Later notes, but
that was a chef's kiss of the way they did that.
Little touch that people were like, oh, she's just a commentator in the back or whatever. If you don't know her and Mox are married, get out from your rock.
Yeah, they even have a kid, guys. Come on.
Yeah. But just that little bit was like, oh, I see what just happened. It was perfect. Perfect. Yeah. What do you, Adam and MJF going for rides around town?
BFFs, hey, you're better than you, baby. I might buy that shirt. That shirt was sick. I laughed because I thought, if we're not getting some sort of video package from this, I was going to be pissed. And especially in Hamilton, it was in Hamilton, right? Yeah. Is that where they ended up? Middle of fucking Hamilton, Ontario. You don't think MJF's going to run down Hamilton, Ontario in this video package whenever we get it? Oh my God.
Yeah.
But I thought it was great. I love that Roderick is the token white guy, or just a random white guy.
Random white guy. Hey, random
white guy.
Again, popped on that because of a horrible human being. They're either winning the tag titles or they're breaking up in the tag title match. This is going.
I agree. Yeah. I think they break up in the tag title match, but it's the only
match for one of them. Yeah.
Exactly. I have a complaint about this blind eliminator tournament or whatever we're calling this thing, but we'll get to it after the Dynamite. But I think the writing's on the wall. It is MJF and Adam Cole for the tag titles at some point. However long this tournament goes, I don't even know when it's scheduled to wrap.
I don't either. I don't know if they do.
I don't think they do at all because I think they just planned everything and were like, we'll figure it out as we go. Which by some of the pairings that I've just seen, they're definitely flying on the seat of their pants just to kind of get something together for this.
Really two random guys
that aren't even random at some juncture, and we'll get to that. But don't live out under. If you're still under that rock, it's MJF and Adam Cole winning this thing.
Yeah,
there's no way around it.
This is where, and it's pretty much the rest of the show, it gets disjointed for me. And it's that early in Dynamite. This Orange, Vikingo, and Keith Lee match against JAS did not need to be 2 commercials long.
And then you got people unintentionally throwing power bombs at other people on their team, hitting people on their team. It
didn't set up anything.
No, it gave Daniel Garcia an opportunity to dance on Keith Lee's back. That's what it did. That was exactly what it did.
I don't even think it continued a story between Orange and Daniel.
No, it didn't. There was nothing I don't even think there's a story. I mean, the story here is that Daniel's coming for the title, and maybe Daniel is who beats Orange for the title, but it did nothing for anybody involved in this contest except for get 6 guys on camera.
That's it.
Because they needed it.
For way too long. Because there was injuries and other people couldn't work and
Yep.
Dark Order versus the Elite. I loved the promo prior. It got me because Dark Order was there for Adam and all his points. And even during the promo, the Bucks bailed on Hangman.
Yep.
Leave him there.
Yep.
If you didn't see that story right there, I'm excited for this. I really am. The match itself was good. I enjoyed it. What ruined it for me was the BCC coming out.
But, yeah, I think that was the only way they could see to go forward with it.
Right.
But
I understand it.
No, I get that. I think it also helped in the regards of doing some character development for the Dark Order, too, where they've kind of now, they were frustrated with Adam Page, and now they've kind of completely grown away from him and said, we don't need you anymore and we're moving on. Kind of that rift thing. But it's an interesting story that they tell because think about it this way. They just lost Stu Grayson to the Righteous on ROH. So now they are tightening the ranks in a way of, we know us three are in this for the long haul, so we're going to keep it at this. And they're really cutting fat of people that they just consider their acquaintances or people that just aren't on par for them. Yeah. There for them or who want to be in their corner. So I like the character development there, but you're right. The BCC didn't even come out. They could have just, I think it's time for blood and guts, just do an announcement type thing. But again, that's not their way. Their way is violence. They choose violence. So, but who's the fifth guy is going to be the key for the Elite because I don't think it's Ishii.
I don't either.
And it's not like Kingston can call Ortiz because they had a falling out.
Right.
Santana, they've had a real life falling out, but I guess technically he's bound to come back soon.
Be bound back soon.
And maybe they figured out things personally, or this is another case of I just respect the hell out of him, but I don't like him as a human being anymore type thing that they could play off of that. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see where it goes from.
Again, we kind of talked about the Jack Perry thing. He's getting rid of the music. He's young, cashing fat checks, banging hottest bitch into place. Yeah, so Sammy's cue cards pissed me off. By the way,
I'm gonna be honest. I went to the bathroom. I didn't even read them. What were they?
I don't know what they said, but he used both sides this time.
Oh.
So he had to held one side up, he had to flip it over, and he says the other one that you could read everything all at once. Like, I like the generic hold it up, throw it, hold it up, throw it.
Throw it.
So I didn't
Move
read
on.
it. Essentially, it
Mike was on a strike.
He was ready for the match, the main event. Ruby didn't have a match, then she got a match because Britt was sick. What the hell did they, by the way, they went to Seattle, Adam and Britt. Is where they were for something. I don't know if it was for the game or if it was something for AEW. They were in Seattle, and that's where they got sick.
Okay. I was wondering how they got sick. I forgot they went to Seattle for the game and that. Because I did remember seeing they went to Nintendo. They visited Nintendo site, saw what was going on there. So, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, Alexa Nicole got her ass beat with Britt's finisher.
Yeah, with the lockjaw after she stole a glove from the ref.
So, we both said Britt's not getting out of the first round. I don't know now.
I think it solidifies it because I think this was just to piss off Britt to get her very hot and, get under her skin a little bit. Yeah, get that dastardly little rub. I'm going to be honest. I thought this was Ruby's best promo since she's come to AEW.
Oh, I agree. It was great.
She did everything perfectly with that. I think it's just to kind of. Well, that's bullshit. Anyways, something's not right. I can't defend the titles against FTR for some reason, and I swear I changed the team up, so I got to look at that. But. This is Ruby's best promo, but I think in the long run, this is just setting Britt up to fail. I think this is just the Outcasts are going to get one over on her and kind of just, it's to get her worked up more than anything. Play that little psychological warfare type thing that we see all too often.
Is it Britt's time to get the title back? It's been about 2 years.
Maybe. I'll say this. If Britt gets the title back in the near future, she loses it. If she gets it way before All In or All Out, whatever one's in London, she's the one that's losing it to Saraya in London. And it could be because Jamie's that injured.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Jamie's that injured, so they'll give it to Britt for 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, and then have her drop it to Saraya in London.
I love Johnny TV. I just wish he was with somebody else.
Yeah, it's just keeping QT relevant right now.
Really is.
This is what's keeping QT relevant.
When we get to the Anything Goes Tornado Tag Team match, the Painmaker and Sammy Guevara against Darby and Sting. Listen, we have to talk about the biggest fucking elephant in the room right off the bat, and then we can talk about the rest of the match. What the motherfucking fuckity fuck was Sting thinking?
I'm actually surprised he made it to the first table. I cannot believe he made it there, but at the same time, what the fuck are you doing?
Why out of the ring? Why not just do the Jeff Hardy like he does? Just have the ladder up and then just essentially fall forward off the ladder through the table, right. Sammy.
Well, I think the other point to that is if you're going to do it out of the ring, fine, whatever. But why do we think he needs to jump 25 feet or however the fuck long that was to get there? Put it closer.
Yeah.
Give the guy a break.
5?
Right? Yeah, he's mid-60s. He's not going to get that much jumping his giddy up. So.
And what was the second table there for?
I think he was supposed to crash into both to protect him. In case he kind of misshot the first one, he could catch the second one and it would be okay. But when you when you hit the first table
with your chin,
he went straight chest chin first right into that second table. I'm surprised he even got up for the fucking finish of the match.
Too. Apparently, though, after Dynamite went off air and prior to them recording Rampage, he kind of got on the mic and said he's all right and everything, but still, dude, you're 65. You've never done that as Surfer Sting or Crow Sting. Now you're over here jumping. What was it? Last year he jumped off of the fucking balcony.
Yeah.
Dude,
he did it multiple times.
Yeah. We don't mind your, once every 2 months match or whatever. That's fine. Just stop doing that or you're not going to have matches. You're turning into Darby. You're supposed to be mentoring Darby and saying, this is what you're not supposed to do every time. He's doing shit like this all the time now. And I'm honestly concerned for his well-being.
Darby is a bad influence on him. Whether you like it or not, Darby is a bad influence on Sting.
He really is. The match,
it was serviceable. But again,
it needed to do.
It did what it needed to do. But again, I'm going to go off of this. I didn't really care about Painmaker Sting coming out. Or not Sting, but Painmaker Jericho. Why the fuck? That persona didn't need to be brought into this. No, it doesn't need to be at all. This match isn't a blood feud of any sorts. It's just they just needed to do they just needed something big to kind of draw, I guess. I don't know.
Are we getting, and this is a rhetorical question, I think, we're getting Sammy against Darby while we're getting MJF and Cole, because they both need something to do. The two, and I'm going to say it, the two legends are just irrelevant in all of this anymore. Mm. So Sammy and Darby need to do something, and then it may be like an eliminator match. Whoever wins between Sammy and Darby get a title shot of whoever wins from Adam and MJF.
Yeah.
Essentially. They just need to make this big that everybody's like, yeah, either one of these guys that win get the title shot. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I'm thinking of this.
Yeah, and which was surprising to me because we probably both thought coming into this was supposed to be Sammy's way to get away from the JAS, and now it's like he's turning right back into it. Like he's getting absorbed into it again. It's kind of shocking in that regard. But I wish they would just break him away.
Thank you. That's what exactly I was going to say. I'm like, we really want Sammy away.
We want Sammy doing his own thing, have him be his own man. It's been a long time coming, but I don't know.
It has been. All right, that's AEW.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
In about an hour, nutshell. I'm still playing, by the way. I don't know. I'm 10 matches away from Owen. I've been playing longer matches. I was just racking through them real quick as soon as I get a finisher, finish people.
Yeah.
But yeah. By the way, if you want to know, oh my God, how do you buy stuff? Every match that I play, I get a minimum of like $4,500.
That's so exactly where I'm at.
Money left over, right? So
yeah, they're not trying to withhold money from you. They're giving you money to do what you want to do and play what you want. That's exactly it. It's not like you're achievement based and you need to make like WWE games where you have to play like 95 things to even make 100 points to buy a fucking arena or whatever it is. Yeah. Buy somebody's fucking pose as a talent.
Yeah.
This is like, just take the money, buy what you want, get what you want, and do what you want to do with it.
Poses on here are like $1,000. So after every match, you can essentially buy 5.
Yeah.
4 or 5.
4 or 5 easily. Without issue.
Ratings and everything. By the way, did you get any of the secret star ratings yet?
Yeah, I got the 6-star and 7-star.
I did too.
Once, yep.
From the Casino Battle Royal when I won it with Danielson.
Yeah, I think I got it when I won it with Miro. I think I got the 7-star with that one. I can't remember what I got the 6-star in, but
yeah.
All
right, we're gonna pause here. Come back. We're gonna have WWE in a nutshell, and then our predictions for today's Money in the Bank. And don't forget, we do have, and I held them out. We do have about 5 glorious families that were sent in too. If you remember us saying, don't forget your glorious family, we have 5 to reveal from people and mine and Jenks.
I love it.
What's up, guys? This is Devlin Macabre, and you are listening to Can Crushers. And always remember, guys, violence is the answer.
Welcome back, everybody, to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. It's time for WWE.
It's time to get glorious first.
Let's do time glorious. To get glorious. You want to do glorious first? All right.
I do.
What do you got?
These. Let's read the people that sent them in. Okay.
Okay.
All right. We got 2 from Facebook, 1 from Instagram, and 1 was an email. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I broke it down. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna butcher these names, by the way, from Facebook. Sean Shock from Facebook. Just did it in the comments, and you guys probably saw it. Dolph, Diamond Mind, Austin's Theory, Chad Gable, and naturally Bobby Roode. Well, I think we all know, and I'm not, because I wrote Roode in mine as well. Like, this is Roode's The Glorious Family, so he is involved in all of them. So he's got Dolph, the Diamond Mind, Austin Theory, and Chad Gable.
I like the Diamond Mind. That's one I hadn't even thought about, really. And that's a good one because it's the way they are. That's a smart pick. I mean, really? Dolph is kind of that giveaway one. I don't know, though, if I'd put Dolph in mine because I feel like that's the past, right?
Right.
and I'm Robert Roode. I'm trying to move to the future, so I would want to leave what my past was in the past with that.
Okay. I understand. Mine's a mixture, by the way.
Okay.
You know, but I didn't think of the Diamond Mind. I really didn't.
I didn't either.
I'm like, oh man. So I really like that one. Theory, Sean, I'm going to be that guy. I'll be that guy. Gable for me. Like, I don't know if Gable fits in for me. I don't know with his. If I see Diamond, I see Theory, Rude, all can be that asshole. Gable, I don't think he's ever an asshole. Because I think the Glorious family is assholes.
I agree. So this is where I agree, because I did have Gable in mind. I will say this, my thought process behind it was, this is where Gable gets serious, because you had Kurt Angle, who went from that comedic timing character to that absolutely serious competitor in a span of 1.5 years. Listen, Gable is literally like for like with the only thing that Gable hasn't done in his career is have main storylines that got him world titles within a year of him debuting.
Right.
So I think for me, this is a way to serious up Gable. There's a history between Rude and Gable. They were a tag team. They were tag team champions at one point. This kind of allows for him to grow, leave Maxine and Otis behind, kind of helps him grow a little bit. So I get that. I get that pick.
Okay. So, Sean, thanks for that. Another one from Facebook is Whitman Williams Jr. He only gave us 3. And, we said you can't do any more than 6. We didn't say a minimum. So he says Curtis Axel, Dolph, and Rude.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, didn't think about Curtis Axel because he's
gone.
He's not relevant.
Right.
But he could.
It's smart. I mean, you go back to the Mr. Perfect angles, and that it's kind of where Dolph have always lived in that perfect mentality. I can see that. I can see that playing into it a little bit.
Another Dolph. So maybe I dropped the ball. I don't have Dolph in, but all right. So that's.
I don't have Dolph either, because I put, like I said, leave Dolph in the past. So I didn't put him in.
So that was Whitman Williams Jr. This one's from Derek. He has MJF, Theory, Street Profits, Brian Cage, and Rude.
I toyed with the Street Profits, so I could see that being the case. I could see that coming up. But
I did too with the Street Profits, but they're not in.
Agreed.
The one for me that I question is Brian Cage. Enforcer, I'm thinking, in this whole idea.
Yeah, it would be more of an enforcer role for Brian Cage than anything. I guess if he decides to come, because he just signed that big contract. So like MJF is more of a more solidified. He could come in 2024 that we know about, because we don't know if
we're saying we're delegating this to WWE.
Well, we go into AEW. We weren't doing that. Oh, okay. That's a game changer, because I strictly stuck to WWE because I figured Rude aligned to WWE. If we're spreading this out, I'll agree with that. I mean, Cage is your enforcer. MJF's your world champion prospect at that point. He's your golden child at that point.
Right. See, I put it out there. I think maybe I didn't put any ramifications or anything on it. Just it had to be no more than 6. I was just thinking across the board. And actually mine are very much, pretty much across the board.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, fair enough.
I should have told you that then.
That's fine. Sometimes I pick up on things. Sometimes I read minds. Who knows?
But I do like his. I like. Listen, this is like the 4 Horsemen, essentially. This one, MJF is Flair. Theory is essentially Tully. Street Profits are Tully and Arn, or the Andersons, and Brian Cage is Wyndham, a la Lex Luger, whoever. And Rude's JJ Dillon. So I like this.
Right.
This one came via email. and did it perfectly, by the way.
Okay.
Perfectly. And it's a callback from somebody from Ask Can Crushers. The other guys might be as well, but this person makes it known. Hey guys, it's Reese. Thanks for using my Ask Can Crushers question. 12-year-old Reese.
Very nice, Reese.
It's the only Reese that we remember having recently. So he reached back out. Thanks for using my Ask Can Crusher question. Here's my glorious 6. And this kid's smarter than all of us because he actually breaks it down. LA Knight is the talker. Big Bill as the enforcer.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Spears as the instigator.
Okay.
Penelope Ford is the dastardly bitch. Again, Mom and Dad are very liberal with Reese.
Yep.
And the Guns as the tag team with Rude B as their advisor.
Okay.
This one is pretty good.
That is a very good. That is a very good lineup by Reese.
And he tells us what it is. Like, we're just like, I didn't do this in mind, by the way. I just let your imagination think. But Reese, noteworthy, that says, LA Knight's going to be the talker. I love that he did this. We all should learn from Reese.
I completely agree. Reese on point once again. Good job, Reese. Love it.
Right. All right, I'll go since I got the list open. Then you can do yours.
Okay.
I have Nick Aldis. Then I'm going to steal from Reese as your world champion. That guy.
Yeah.
I have LA Knight. Also possible world champion, better talker than Aldis. So he's kind of, listen, I know we did the Glorious Family as in 6, this, that, and the other. Everything when it's a group is kind of a la Horseman as well. So I picked LA as like Telly.
Okay.
I put Pretty Deadly in there.
Oh, okay.
Tag team. Because we were talking about younger. So I did a little bit of this. And you know I always throw a woman in. I always do that. When she comes back, Carmella.
Okay. All right. I like it.
So that's my glorious 6.
Your glorious 6.
It is
mine.
Because Rude's in it as well.
Yeah, Rude's in it. I think Rude's like 6 to 7. Like, he can be that 7th member. That's kind of your outside guy. So, obviously, Rude's in mine. I did pick LA Knight, obviously, to be that talking piece. You need the mouthpiece. Chad Gable, I said I added to this because I want to see that more serious side of him, and I think he's going to carry his own. He's an enforcer. He might not look like the enforcer, but he's going to carry his own and be that enforcer. He could also play the role of your instigator in this regard. So take it where you will and how you will in that. Outside of it, I had, I made a pivot during our conversation here. Pivot. Because we did open it up to outside of the WWE. I decided, okay, how do I expand this perimeter? And I thought the tag team division. Now I'm not going to put FTR in there because that could be a default, whatever you want to be.
Right.
I'm going to take it
not to take normal people.
I'm going to take it one step further because I think the potential is there. Big Bill and Lee Moriarty. I think Lee, the way Big Bill obviously can be that big enforcing guy on the team, but Lee can help be the instigator, but he can also be that surprising technician wrestler. And if you want to plug and play here, Lee and Gable are a hell of a tag team to maybe even go forward with. If they don't see Gable, if you guys aren't seeing Gable in that traditional enforcer role, because Gable's not that size of stature, you don't see him in that traditional enforcer role, plug and play him with Lee. Let him go as a tag team. Let them do what they want to do.
The technicians.
Yes. Let them go. Let them cook. So there's a little bit of plug and play there. So I threw a girl in here, but I did. It might be a little unconventional, but I think it kind of fits it, and it brings a little bit of world championship to it. I put the NXT champion Tiffany Stratton in this group.
Ooh, I like that.
I think the way she's developing her lineage, it's all behind her here, where I think it was worth mentioning and putting her in this glorious group. to kind of think a little bit outside the box. So I throw Tiffany in there as well. And so that would be where I'm at. The ones I kind of removed from this, Braun Breaker, because I thought we could use Braun as kind of that next world champion type thing.
Right.
Get him a little bit serious. He's trying to get into that serious role. I think he needs a little bit of help in that regard. The other one is one that we don't know if he's even wrestling ever, Gable Stevenson. I just threw it out there. He's got a lot of stuff in it, but he would benefit from a Bobby Roode type mouthpiece.
He really would.
And that would. But I don't think he's ever going to make that transition back. So it kind of made it a little bit easier to say, oh, let me pivot to get some actual tag teams in here and see what we can do with it. But that's where I'm at.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about SmackDown from last week. By the way, you guys watched SmackDown last night? Pre-recorded, this, that, and the other. Yeah. So, what did you like about SmackDown? You know, it was on while we were kind of still recording last week. We saw up until Ronda and Shayna unified the tag team championships, whatever. I mean, it was Uso heavy. You're not on.
I think it was come to be expected that it was very Uso heavy, and of course I can't find any of my notes, but it was 100%. I think they had to steer into that mindset of, listen, we have to bring the Usos up we have to come full circle with this right now. And it was literally just to kind of throw them out in front.
She hates being at your house.
She does. I gotta go check this out. But I think it was Uso heavy. It needed to be Uso heavy to put something over.
All right. So as he's checking that out, main event was Sheamus against Solo. I actually really enjoyed that match. Sheamus had such great months. Go back and listen to everything I've been saying about Sheamus. And I really think that he needs that one title run before he hangs it up. We don't know if it's sooner than later or anything like that, but I really think that Sheamus deserves to be that champion once again, once this bloodline is stuff wrapped up. Just something, just a world champion, not an IC, not a US champion, not a tag champion. Give him his comeuppance one more time. But yeah, you see that Solo is getting set to run the bloodline, essentially. We're all going to see what happens today as you're listening to what's going on. Flair against Lacey, yeah, that was just what it was. Flair beat Lacey. How about all this stuff? And I really wanted to save this for him, so we'll hold on for that. The Grayson Waller effect, pretty deadly. They're ready to take on the Profits and pretty deadly squeak out the victory after they tell everybody who they won against. And yeah, LA Knight against Ray. LA Knight gets the win. And this is leading all up into, Money in the Bank. So yeah. All right. I'm going to jump over to Raw. Well, we wait for him to come back. And Raw was Raw. It was 3 hours for me of muttering through wrestling. It wasn't stellar. The summit was nice. The Money in the Bank Women's Summit, because that kind of got a little chaotic. And the only other thing that I really super, super enjoyed was Miz and Ciampa that wasn't a match. Somehow, I really connected with that. And I thought, okay, this is going to be a feud. I thought it was said and done last week or 2 weeks ago, but they're going to continue with this, and it's fitting for both of them. I know they had that callback of when Ciampa was brought up from NXT for Miz and, finding him again and all of that. It just is perfect timing for the Miz and Ciampa. Okay, Jenks is back now. I'm going to revert back to SmackDown real quick because I want to get your whole thoughts on the Lacey Evans and Sergeant Slaughter shit that's just going on, which is unbelievable.
Well, we thought something was going on. I thought something would come of that because his daughter started tweeting about it. I think what was it, 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, something like that. And now we find out Sarge doesn't even watch SmackDown because of this. Like, I'm not surprised at all. But I think and I don't know if you brought this up, Mark, it's nobody cleared this with Sergeant Slaughter to say, hey, do you have a problem if Lacey does this?
Right.
If she comes out like this, or even Lacey reaches out, because as far as I know, Sarge has a good working relationship with the company in some regards, so nobody thought, hey, we should reach out to Sarge and see if it makes sense, or if he has any issues with this right now.
Right.
So
his wife, his daughter is thoroughly pissed, but him to come out and say he's not even watching SmackDown now because of it.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
He's legitimately embarrassed because of it. Because of what he's seeing in that.
He even brought up that when he was kind of on the shelf a little bit back when he was still running and he was making that switch to be in Iraq Slaughter, that's when DiBiase started with the $1 Million Dream, essentially, and he brought up that they at least asked him, hey, can we transition this over? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. Then he went to the Camel Clutch, which made perfect sense because he was being mentored, or, he switched to being Iraqi.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. There's times that people are like, it's a move, people steal moves all the time. Yes. But she's calling it the fucking Cobra Clutch.
Yeah.
It's the big thing. Call it the Lacey or the Evans execution or something.
Yeah. Yes, people steal moves a lot. I mean, Canadian Destroyer has been stolen and reused millions of times by now. But I think it's also important to call out here is there's a lot of respect put on it that when you're in WWE, you reach out to the individuals that have done the move and say, can I do it again? Like, I think there was a story that I've heard Randy Orton tell back from 2020, from the pandemic era, where Austin Theory reached out and said, hey, can I still do this cutter? I've been doing it in NXT. Can I still do this? Because I know it's a little bit like the RKO. Right? And Randy Orton really appreciated that, loved it to happen. You brought up the point of, the $1 Million Dream and whatnot. So I think the precedent was set that you should reach out. I'm not saying you have to, but you should reach out out of common courtesy and common respect. And when legends feel disrespected, that's when you start losing them and stop losing them as special attractions. You can make the argument Sergeant Slaughter hasn't really been utilized that much by the company, but he's still a special attraction. So if somebody sees him come in, people stand up.
Yeah.
People respect him for what he's done for the company.
Exactly. The other thing I talked about on SmackDown was Sheamus and Solo. And I've said this for months now, how Sheamus deserves, before he retires, the heavyweight, the universal, the new championship, whatever, at least one more time, because, we joke about banger after banger, but just story himself, he's just on another level right now.
100%. He has clicked it into a new gear, and it's really started since Cripps took over, is because he feels that he can now express himself or he can open himself to be more, put more into the match, put more creativity behind what he can do, what he can say, and he has, let's be honest, he now has an influx of talent that he can work with on a weekly basis that can bring out the best of him in new ways that he hasn't seen in quite some time.
Yeah. Then I transitioned over to Raw, Jenks, real quick, and I said I muddled through 3 hours. Now, granted, muddling through 3 hours is fast-forwarding a lot. It was a go-home show before the go-home show. And I know, yeah, because, you know, they're across the seas, this, that, and the other thing. But it didn't have anything. I was happy to see Cody's dog.
Yeah, Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Finally making his WWE debut. I love that. But you're right. It was, of course. Speaking of dogs, stealing paper towels. Right on cue. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, it's been bound to happen. I think people have been clamoring more for Pharaoh than anybody in a long time. I think Pharaoh's WWE debut has been one of the most anticipated things ever. Leave that. Hey.
Yeah. I said I liked the Women's Summit, actually, because a lot kind of came out of it, but nothing came out of it. It was just chaos, but it gave you a look. So I was excited for that. Cody beating Priest, it does something for me. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Balor attacking Seth, that does something for me. Seth looked like the fucking Kool-Aid man on Slim Fast, though. I did not like the red jumpsuit.
He's a fashion icon. I don't know what to tell you, whether he looks like he's on Slim Fast or not. He's just a fashion icon. But I'm surprised that they let him get one more over. Let Finn get one more over on Seth. It's really might be tipping my hand where I'm going in that match, but I think it was just surprising that they keep letting Finn get these one-overs on him.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going probably the same place you are. And finally, the only thing I want to talk about is, and I said this right before you came back on, did you love the Miz Ciampa stuff as much as I did?
Yes. Because I thought
but it just, there's a story that is just encapsulating to me.
It's being told now. It's one of these things where it's not your traditional, the guy comes back, okay, he beat his former, whoever he was hanging out with at that time, before that, and now he's going to move on to other things. This actually sets up a story and gives Ciampa direction, which I think has been, with a lot of returns, lackluster.
Yeah.
You lose a lot of that. So I thought that's a nice touch. Even if it's a mini 4-week program, it'll be perfect. Perfect to get Ciampa back in the swing of things. Get Miz still TV time as he goes forward. So I did like it a lot, but I want to see where it goes before I start giving it all of its roses.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to make feud of the year or match of the year or anything, but it's at least for both of them, because I thoroughly enjoy both of them on my TV set. In the Miz, sometimes, yeah, we always say we give him his roses, that he's carried everything that he's ever done. Sometimes we just forget that he's on there. And I think Ciampa is somebody perfect that he can work with.
Agreed. I completely agree. Ciampa's going to bring out the best in him as they go forward. And which is weird, I think, for a lot of people hearing, but guys, remember, Ciampa has been one of a kind. He had captured our hearts in NXT. So this is the guy that'll bring out the Miz and really bring a lot of what we've seen hints of over the past couple months for the Miz. It's going to come out in tenfolds as they go through this rivalry.
Oh, I agree. All right. We ready for predictions?
I think we are.
All right.
Let me get the old show card up here. All right.
I'll get the old pen ready.
You get the pen ready. Alrighty.
Title's on the line.
Hopefully I'm ready. We did. We gotta be ready for it. So
this is a WWE event, and I'm defending the title.
Good luck. I mean, even Molly's not thinking that's a great idea over here, but she's her own biggest cheerleader too. Anyway, let's go for it. Intercontinental Championship, Gunther versus Riddle I'll go first here because it's probably easy. I am going Gunther. I don't think they're changing the title and giving it to Riddle here.
I don't either. I think there's somebody else in line for it. I'm not going to tell you who yet, but I don't think it's Riddle because I think, you know how we didn't have surprises at Forbidden Door?
Yeah.
I'm not going to not say that for Money in the Bank.
Okay.
I think somebody returns and may cost Riddle setting up because summer's so quick.
I see where you're going with that. I could definitely see that. If not cost him, meet him after the match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe to help drive away some people to set up something for the future. I agree with that. All right. Let's go to the women's tag team title match. Ronda and Shayna versus Raquel and Liv. What do you got?
I thought Ronda was ready to take time away, like a minute before she came back from this injury. I thought that was the whole thing. And I don't know I know Liv's injury wasn't super bad, but it feels like she returned super fast. I don't think they were supposed to lose the titles until they lost them to Shayna and Ronda, maybe somewhere else. But I just, there's something wonky about all of this. And that's why I'm going to go Liv and Raquel. I really think they're going to pull it, even though they just unified them. I think maybe it was supposed to be Liv and Raquel to unify them or something. And again, it's wrapped around the women's tag team championships because there's never a base. I think it's Liv and Raquel because they weren't supposed to lose them.
I agree there's something fishy going on here. I think, from my perspective, though, we're going to differ because I'm going to take Shayna and Ronda here. I think even though Liv has come back, I don't see Liv and Raquel being together much longer. So I think this is where they cut the cord. I think Raquel turns on Liv because I do think Liv's the one taking the pinfall in this match, and Raquel is just going to be overly frustrated at that point. And that's where she snaps. We saw it with Becky costing her the match. We've seen the frustration start to grow for Raquel. I think this is the tipping point.
Yes, I would probably agree with you. I really, really would. We thought we saw the Raquel turn 4 fucking times by now. And the smile, does she join Shayna and Ronda? Or they bail as soon as they get the cheap victory and like that would be, you think they bail?
I think they bail.
Because I think we need Raquel to be hated. Like, fucking hated. And to put her with Raquel and Shayna would do it. I really do. But I don't think it happens. I think they get one more title shot and then they lose them. Maybe that's where the turn happens.
See, I don't know I think, so it's WWE logic I'm using here. I think they are banking on Raquel turning on Liv will be such a hateful moment for people that's the trigger that they want to use.
And do it across seas.
Yes. Exactly.
I wrote it down, but you know what? You're exactly right because I keep forgetting that it's overseas.
It's overseas. Get the shock value. Get the mad pop out of it.
All right. Next.
All right. Let's go. All right. Cody versus Dom Dom. If this isn't Cody Rhodes, I don't know. I would be shocked, to be honest.
Right.
Especially Cody.
I don't know if there's anything for me to say on this. I mean, it's got to be Cody, right?
It's just got to be.
Why would it be anybody else? I know it's Dom, but yeah, I mean, who else? Why? Tell me why it would need to be Dom.
Why would it need to be Dom? Dom doesn't need this victory. Dom is in this feud or in this match just to get the notoriety out of it, to have a big name match. Anyways, okay. So, on that regard, let's go to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. So, you have Selena Vega, you have Io Sky, you have Trish Stratus, you have Bayley, you have Becky, you have Zoe Starks. Who you got?
Io. For me, it's that after the week, maybe the last 2 weeks, it's been Io to win it, to maybe get that rift. Maybe Io doesn't keep it. Maybe, I don't know. Like, Io Bayley is going to happen, essentially. And maybe we have Io Bayley fighting for the Money in the Bank for a little bit. Because I don't think it's Becky, because I think Becky's got other things to come up with, and we'll get there when her time's right. Yeah, it's Io. By the way, just so you know, I know on SmackDown, if Bayley loses to Shotzi's in, Bayley won. So
I was going to say, I didn't think Shotzi would get that victory.
No, she last year's bank was horrible for her.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're not. See, I don't think they're going to give Shotzi a lot of chances here.
She's got the Chelsea green. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm honestly right there with you. I think this is Io's the win. Zelina's in it just for name value at this point. I think they put the LWO in both matches just to have them represented.
Yep.
Becky's canceled out by Trish and Zoe, and they're canceled out by Becky. I think this is the turning point, the linchpin for the whole damage control implosion type thing. So, Io, I'm with you on that.
News, Dakota Kai is recovering good. She put a tweet out or an Instagram, I don't remember which one I saw, that she is recovering faster than she thought. So I don't know if that could play into it as well. Just throwing that out there. I don't know if she's that healthy or if she was that injured, but there's a possibility Dakota could be around too. But that would definitely solidify Io then for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. All right, let's do the men's now. Men's Money in the Bank. 7 guys in here. We played with it. Superstar notoriety. Johnny, YouTube personality. Logan Paul. Yeah. I'm going Damian. I still think this is Damian Priest to take. I think there's Judgment Day's breakup is cruxed on him getting the push. So I think this is Damian's.
We hinted around that whole thing last week of how this is Priest's moment, Judgment Day. Ripley's bigger than all of them. Dom honestly doesn't need them. Finn is floating between relevant and irrelevant sometimes. This is Priest's time. I really think this is Priest's time. And then it wouldn't be a bad thing here in the near future.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Things are falling apart for them. Does he cash in soon? I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised either.
I wouldn't either.
I would not.
Listen, I'll spoil it. You know how we all joked about the women cashing in within 30 seconds or anything? Maybe the women don't this year.
Well, let's play a flip on that too. What if he goes to cash in and Finn stops him? And Finn costs him his cash in.
First of all, I hate failed cash ins, by the way. I fucking hate
that. I get that.
But right, you're essentially saying there's your next story then, Finn and Priest, because Finn stopped them.
Finn's jealous. He just lost to Seth. Took Seth to the limit, but he couldn't beat Seth, and then Damian comes along, tries to cash in. It creates the rev.
Yeah.
It
blows up Judgment Day.
It blows it up. So I think they go for it.
Yeah, I do too.
All right.
They do.
Yep. All right. Guys, if I sound out of breath, I'm running around with the puppy right now. So
he really is, by the way. This is awesome. I love it. You have a nice backyard, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I like it. Maybe I'll show off the deck at some point. All right. World title. We talked about this. Seth freaking Rollins, Finn Balor. I think we know who each of us got, but Mark, who do you got?
Seth. We just gave him the whole...
Seth. Yeah, the whole storyline's there. So Seth.
Yeah.
Seth's best board. All right. Let's do it. Main event time.
Yeah.
The Civil War. Roman and Solo. The Usos. I don't know, man. I don't think the Usos can do this. I think it's Roman and Solo.
Why do you think I wore it today? Why do you think I wore it today? And
you acknowledged them.
Yeah. We the ones. No. I know we the ones went to essentially the Usos, but he's the head of the table. And we need to get solo matches out of this.
Yeah.
You know, the Usos are the good guys now, the face, whatever you want to say. They win the tag team match. Okay. I just think that they lose this tag team match and it leads to one of them now. I don't even know which one, honestly, right now, gets the shot at SummerSlam, which is 3 weeks away.
One of them gets a shot, one of them gets Solo.
Yeah.
That's the storyline here. I honestly think it's Jay versus Roman, Jimmy versus Solo, because at this point, we're talking main event Jay. We're bringing back main event Jay. That story's written. That story is there. And honestly, it'll probably be 10 times better than what it was back in 2000, 2001 time frame. Jimmy and Solo, that's brotherly. Just a brotherly
hate.
Back and forth. Brotherly hate. Sibling rivalry. I was trying to get that out. But, yeah, I think the money's on Jay and Roman because that's the story that's been told. Between Sammy to Jimmy, now to Jay. Jay has always been that crux point of he's the left-hand man, he is now, or the right-hand man, he has now left Roman Reigns high and dry. This is his story, his go-forward approach.
We only have one differential.
It's the women's tag title, isn't it?
Yep. So there's either the new champs and the same champ, or there's going to be old champs and a new champ.
New champ. Figure that out.
Yeah, this is. Listen. I've lived a great life all week between Fight Forever and all AEW's wrestling, and I'm excited about most of these matches today on Money in the Bank. Gunther Riddle, I could give two craps about. I really hope. I would imagine one of the Money in the Banks is going to lead off the show. You don't want to put those back to back.
No. They lose that way.
Yeah, and I'm all right with both of those. The Riddle match, I could give a crap about. I mean, I just want to see Gunther just destroy him. I really do.
Yeah.
And if Orton does make the return, that'll be awesome.
Yeah. That'll be fantastic, but we'll have to see if Orton does make that return, does put it through. Because to your point, like you said, you don't really give two craps about this match, but that would make us give the crap to want to say, okay, now I'm invested.
Right.
Now Riddle has the path forward. Gunther wouldn't have one, but Orton's back. There's now a storyline involved with it that makes us say, okay, now we'll invest our time in it.
Yeah. And literally, guys, Survivor Series is not Survivor Series, Jesus.
Survivor Series, man.
Yeah. SummerSlam is right around the corner, so for these mid-titles, there's no stories going forward. Stories need to come out of this pay-per-view to carry them to SummerSlam. Agreed.
At some point, we got to get the story there. So what is it? How do we want to go forward? Or we're still stuck in the rut that we've always been stuck in with all of the mid-card titles. They just don't have a story around them.
Right. And we get matches thrown together
at the last minute just to say, oh, it's been on the card. It's been on the show. It's on the show. Yeah. We got to avoid that at all costs.
Good show. Not for you.
Good show.
Not for
I
you.
apologize. I apologize, everyone. I've been all over the place. I know.
He has played maybe the first 5 minutes of the show. I've continued to play the whole time, by the way. I am 2 matches away from getting Owen Hart because I've paused and this, that, and the other thing when I really wanted to talk. And I'm really wanting to talk right now. Jenks was put on 20 miles during this podcast, by the way. This is awesome. He's got a workout, a podcast, a beer, play a little fight forever.
I am over 10,000 steps for the day, by the way, just from running between it.
And you were off today.
I was off today. I wasn't even at work. I just went and got an oil change this morning and went to the eye doctors. That was all I did. And now I'm just running around here watching puppy lose her mind because Bailey breathes in the wrong way.
Is this your week? And I'm not backhanding you or anything like that because I love it. I love that fight with dogs forever. Is this your week?
It's probably going to be my week coming up because I'm off through the 4th. And when I pick back up for work on the 5th, it's remote for the end of the week. So I will be here running around with this puppy, trying to figure out what the hell. I'm hoping at some point these two just are like, okay, we're fine. We're good. Let's back off. But I don't know. Puppy trying to establish dominance here is kind of get me a little concerned. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
They'll work it out. They
will. They're perfectly fine.
It's
honestly.
Not like you can get rid of it.
No, and I'm not trying to. I mean, I get that. But they're fine half the time. They're playing. That's what they're up to. I think for me, it's just trying to stay on top for the bathroom schedule type thing. Just staying on top when this puppy's got to go, trying to get her outside, things of that nature. Because when I got Bailey, full disclosure, a couple years ago, she was already 5 months old, so she was pretty much on the brink of being house trained. She just needed to learn what door to go through. Right. Puppy's only about 3 months old, so she don't know.
And you weren't trying to do a podcast.
True. Facts. Absolute facts. And you know what? I hope I at least made it entertaining for you guys. Running around like a crazy person. Losing my nose and shit.
You did it for me. I had a blast playing, watching you, and just losing my mind half the time going, oh, this is awesome. He's having the worst day of his fucking life on this podcast.
You know what? What's funny? I have Nick Jackson versus Jeff Hardy started. It's been sitting for a half hour on the pause screen. Just because I'm running.
You're running. I have, just a little heads up, I have the Bananas on Sunday.
Nice.
Get home really early in the morning Monday, half a day Tuesday, and then we'll see. Nothing. I don't have real plans at all, so just a ho-hum week. By the way, though, last week's the spotlight with Sarge. If you listen to that, make sure you check out the Sarge Cal Christopher's Facebook page. He does have his trooper shirts now out. So if you want to join the troop and help support his bullying and stuff like that, head over to his Facebook, check it out, buy a shirt from him. That's really cool. This week's podcast with Red James goes a little south. I become a heel. The true piece of shit Mark comes out.
Uh-oh.
And it is great.
Now, is this leading to a rivalry we need to be aware of for High Ground?
And no, because Red James is not in High Ground.
That's fair. Okay, fair enough.
Red James is Oklahoma boy.
Okay.
But he says it right on the podcast himself. He's a piece of shit. He told me some things he did, and I'm like, oh my God, I love it. He's like, you're a piece of shit then too. I'm like, apparently I'm a piece of shit. We're friends, so we're pieces of shit together. And it's just, yeah.
Just steer right into the curve now.
I'm right into the curve again. I was being very much face for the longest time. Nope. Spins it back around in one freaking spotlight. Yep.
Well, welcome back to the dark side.
Back to the dark side. Part owner of the Dark Order. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoy Money in the Bank. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoy everything that we put out. We love it. We will continue to play Fight Forever. We'll talk about it all week, I'm sure. We'll talk about it next week when we have the podcast again. Tell you maybe some of the things that we've done. I still can't figure out, even playing, how to really jump on the outside of the ring to do like suicides and stuff.
I haven't figured that out either. Yeah. The only way I've done it so far is climbing up to the top rope and then jumping off.
Yeah.
That's the only way I figured it out.
Diving, like, and I know I to do it.
Yeah, the amount of times I've been dove on by the computer is pissing me off, so.
Right. More matches. If you're still on the fence about getting it, more matches that I play will be put up on YouTube, so you can at least see a 46-year-old man barely playing a video game well, but having fun, just so you can see, like, real life stuff. Not because I put the matches on. I don't edit it like anybody else does. That, hey, I want to show you this, I want to show you that. Like the real technology dudes, and Jenks knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Right from the cut screen until the match is over, you get to see everything the way I do it. And just, I hope you enjoy it. So, all right.
I think that's the best way to do it.
It really is.
I'm going to be honest.
If you cut it, it makes it like, oh, anybody can cut this and paste it and make a highlight reel.
Yeah, and that's not what people want. They want the raw gameplay. So
that's what it is. All right, you're running. I love you.
I'm getting ready for a bull rope match. So this is what we're doing here. I'm putting, so I have my leash for the dog, but I'm putting out, Molly's leash while I do it. So it looks like a bull rope. So,
nice.
And she's pulling on me.
Sir Michael Jenks' house tonight.
Throw me against the wall here. Hit me with a cowbell at some point. So I love you.
Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
You're a garbage can, not a garbage cannot. Tell your loved ones that you love them. Mark, I love you. Again, you didn't say it back.
Jenks, I love you too. Because you never know.